Hey guys, what's going on? It's a Block Bull right about now, bringing you the latest episode to the channel now. Today we're going to take a look at the markets because we're looking very indecisive. However, I'm going to highlight the risk to reward on each and every crypto that we cover today. So we're probably looking at cryptos like XRP, XDC, Velo, and Gala as well. Because if you guys are following the channel and subscribed, I have currently put a lot of money into Gala. Now, I am looking to flip Gala and run Gala up in order to flip Gala into XRP. So I want a maximum of 1 million XRP come the end of the year. That's just off that one particular trade. Okay, so this is where we are now. Gala's run up beautifully for me, almost up 10% on the day. Yes, we have retraced a little bit, but nothing too concerning. However, I have got the XRP blueprint and I've also got the XDC one, guys. So if you guys need a plan for this upcoming bull market, make sure to do so because we will be entering the bull market after the US election, certainly from 24th, 25th week commencing of November this year. So we're going to run up massively. So if you was to click on that link there, it'll bring you through the blockbulls.com. So there's the XRP plan if you need that. Also, I've done the XDC one as well because these two are there still, despite the amount of money that I've got in Gala at the moment, and also Velo. These two are still the biggest holdings in the portfolio, guys. So, for example, if you wanted the XRP plan, click on there. You can get access to the Ripple XRP plan. So it'll give you exact specific dates, when the breakout is expected, interim targets, exit strategy. Bob's your uncle. You are now a multimillionaire. Be it you have got enough to invest in, but there's some very, very high targets in there. You know, we're looking past sort of that $10-13 mark, which is what most sort of TA analysts are expecting with the Fibonacci levels. Okay, so diving into the charts, this is sort of what you would expect to see in the plan. Obviously, this is very limited sort of scope, what you guys get to see. Obviously, if you have got access to the blueprint, you will have the full access of the targets as well. But we have got specific dates in mind. So we're looking at anywhere between 32, 35 weeks where we can break out. But that would be when I would be looking to actually accumulate XRP again. Now, we could go as long as 36 weeks, which is what I would expect XRP to do this time around, because 36 weeks would take us into January. So I would be looking at a breakout for XRP in January. Hence why I did that video yesterday where I'm actually looking for other altcoins in the market to actually run up in Q4 of this year. And then once they reach sort of all-time highs from the previous cycle, I can then rotate that profit into XRP and XDC. Okay, so let's dive into it. So we'll go off the weekly at the moment. We'll actually go into like the daily. Let's see where we're at on the daily. And we'll also put lines with marks on as well, just to simplify things very soon. So this is where we're trading at the minute. You can see this blue symmetrical triangle coming to the head at the apex. Now, this is why I'm stipulating towards the end of the year here, around Christmas sort of time. I feel like we'll stall out for a bit. We'll go into some sort of stalling price action. We'll probably flatline, and then New Year will definitely pop. Now, just from a conspiratorial sort of point of view, could you imagine if we actually get a sort of explosion around the 23rd, 24th? Is that 23rd, 24th of December? Was that when XRP was initially, embroiled in this litigation? Well, Chris Lawson and Brad Garlinghouse, anyway, of Ripple, they were certainly sued for the sale of XRP to R3. That's what it's all to do with, really. So could you imagine if we actually see an explosion literally, 3-4 years on from when was actually first sued ultimately. But anyway, getting back to the charts, we've got this blue symmetrical triangle here. We've had a few fake outs here. We've had this one fake out. You could consider this a fake out here, but this big sort of correction here to the downside, that's looking negative. It doesn't look too great for XRP, but XRP recovered very, very well, and we actually got a lot of days. We've probably seen weekly closes inside of this symmetrical triangle. We've had another fake out, so we're literally grabbing liquidity now. However, the positive is, going off this sort of green trend line now, going off the sort of 24 lows, we're actually trading here, and we bring that up to the apex towards the end of the year. We're actually creating higher lows here. We've had a wick down here, we've had a wick down here, and a wick down here. Now, this wick hasn't exceeded this wick here, so this is why I believe XRP has bottomed interimly up until after the US elections. I still expect XRP to breach sub 50 cent after the US elections. However, in the interim, well, certainly before the US elections, within the sort of next 4 weeks, I do expect us to have another crack at this sort of blue trend line here, which would be around 16-17% from current price action. We're currently trading there around 53-54 cent, guys. Now, what I've done is I've also added this sort of P&L. So this will sort of mark out the risk to reward ratio for you guys, whether or not you want to sort of be accumulating more XRP at these levels. Now, for me personally, I do like to trade off the weekly. I'm not really looking at shorter term timeframes. Like, I'm not a day trader in crypto. Yes, I have got a lot of experience over in Forex, but for me, investing in crypto is very, very volatile. And with the large sum that I've got in crypto, I just want to eliminate any room for error, because you know what it's like when you're placing orders, especially when you're doing it on your phone now, tap round button by accident, and you're actually placing a sell order all the way down here, and you end up in negative equity based on that sort of particular trade. So I tend to keep off day trading because it's so tempting just to do it on your phone. However, what I've done is highlighted this. Now I'm just going to flick back over to the weekly time frame here. Now I've marked out here. You can also mark out lines with markers if you wanted to, but I'm always targeting prior lows as well, especially this 24 low down here. So for me, that's the sort of risk involved with XRP at the minute, taking out that. Obviously, we'd wick just below to exceed any liquidity, grab liquidity from this low here. So at this current price here, you're looking at a risk of about 23%, and we'll be trading there around that sort of 41, 42 sort of level, in my opinion. So that is the risk involved. Now, we can do, obviously, you're seeing a couple of fake outs to the downside here. We can do the exact same sort of fake out to the upside. So there's no reason why we couldn't get above this blue trend line here and exceed and sell the fake out and then capitulate after the US elections. So ultimately, this is exactly why I'm getting into other alts now, to maximize my XRP back, because I'm not expecting an explosion here up until the end of the year where we're trading around that sort of 60 cent level. Now, if I was just to clear that sort of TA up, I would be looking at which way it goes. Say we was to go up, and then we could come back down. We could retest and do a fake out around here. We could capitulate further. We could wick down, and then we could wick back up. Ultimately pinballing into that sort of apex. And then, especially at the end of December, going into January, that's when we get that sort of first impulsive move. So it doesn't matter where XRP pinballs ultimately, but what we're trying to stipulate here is the important sort of highs and lows, if you will. So 63 cent is resistance, and for me, after the US elections, we'll be looking at probably taking out this low, in my opinion, with a wick, and then we'll probably still create higher lows by closing above here around this sort of, we want to be closing certainly above these sort of dots here. So this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So as long as we sort of close above here, it doesn't matter if we wick all the way down here. Say, for example, we could run up here, get a fake out. Then after the US elections, we could dump and we could wick all the way down here, and we could take out this sort of interim bottom here. Well, when I say interim, the 24 low. And then what we'd look to do then, wick down. We get a close above going into sort of December. So we're above these sort of dots down here. So it's still a higher low. We've just wicked down. That's all we've done, guys. And then what I look to do is, some sort of price action around the peak, then blast off to the upside. So that for me is what XRP will probably do. Okay. Now, going over to Gala, which is where I'm literally placing a lot of my capital, my XRP and XDC bags, because I still don't expect them to move till the end of the year. XDC may get moving sooner rather than later in comparison to XRP, but I still don't expect XRP to get moving till the end of the year. I've got to reiterate. Now, moving on to Gala. This is why I'm so bullish on Gala, because you can see where Gala can get up to by the end of the year up here. I would say around that sort of 91, 92 cent mark. and that will be sort of end of December, beginning of January, when I believe XRP will start moving. So there's a massive room for gains here. You can see if I measure up some from sort of current price action, you're looking at around 4,200, 4,300% increase. So if you was to rotate that into XRP would say, we're going to pinball. Say we're 60 cent, 61 cent. Come the end of December with XRP, you could roll that in. So that's what I'm looking to do. But ultimately, there is a case. I can't see Gala getting going just yet. I mean, there is a possibility. We're trading and investing ultimately, so there's always probabilities for the upside and to the downside. But ultimately, this is just what I feel as though Gala's going to do, because it moves very volatile. We could see it. We could see an upswing. And even if we don't, what I'd expect us to do is probably bounce and grind down here till the US elections. So something around there. And I've also highlighted here in the red and the green here. So this is where I would expect Gala to get to as low as around that 1.5 cent mark anyway. Certainly just below the apex, and we'll take out this low as well. So that'd be enough to liquidate any sort of positions down here. So you can just see the risk to reward here. If I highlight here, risk to reward ratio from the end of the apex, and certainly taking that low down there to wick down there, is 191. That is the risk to reward. So what you're risking to what you stand to gain is absolutely phenomenal in this Q4. So this is why I'm so invested in Gala, and ultimately I will be returning any profits I make in Gala. Probably in Velo as well, because if Velo can get moving, any big movers that do 30, 40, 50x, if they do that, that is the case. Again, it's all probabilities. If we get these 30, 40x moves in these sort of lower cap altcoins, then I will be returning all profits back to base, which is the XRP, XDC. And then that is when the XRP plan and the XDC plan begins to become true into fruition, because that for me would then be the end game, which is why it's so important, because we're literally stacking our bags now from now until the end of the year. And then from the end of the year into 2025, we've got the plans to execute, and we will be taking profits. Now, if I don't make millions and millions, and I've done something wrong here, again, this is all speculation, but I feel like we have given some really strong cases as to why Gala can really get moving here. Now, if I go back over to the candles, again, we highlighted this in yesterday's video, how significant this yellow horizontal line is. We've got the green sort of dash diagonal line going through the price action here. This is a 23 low here. So that creates the inverse head and shoulders. We're now trading outside of the wedge, and we've actually successfully closed 1 week, and we've actually retested there. So that's 2 weeks, 2 closes above the wedge. Again, we may grind into the apex down here, into this sort of red area. But really, you're only looking at a maximum of 22% drawdown now. So even if you was to invest, you're only going to lose, in my opinion, maximum of sort of that 20%. And I'm willing to take that risk, knowing what we stand to gain here. So this is why I'm not looking to trade Gala down here into the apex. I'm just going to continue to accumulate with more dry powder if it becomes accessible for myself to do that. So this is where we are now. That is Gala, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking for a strong run up. Now I'll go over to Velo as well, because I believe Velo actually got a really strong close here. Now again, this yellow horizontal line, this was like a significant pump. With it kind of marked the bottom for the Velo chart here. Let me just scroll out for you guys. You can see here we created the low here, and then out of the low we got that massive explosion to the upside. So this sort of high here is obviously an area of significance for me. So there's a lot of supply and demand. We've talked about how this sort of first breakout actually ultimately failed. We come back into the blue channels. Now we got a breakout and we've been bouncing around. We're looking for some sort of fuel to get that injection to the upside and fulfill this green order block up here. Now Velo has closed above a number of times now, but it's interesting to see where Velo is at now. To me, Velo looks as if, we're currently trading just below, and you can see this wick in the previous week as well. We have traded below that yellow horizontal line, so it's literally touch and go now for Velo. So it's very hit and miss, but this is where you earn your money, by taking the risk. Now, if I was to apply the risk to reward aspects of Velo, this is where I'll be looking at. So if we was to actually fail to hold this yellow horizontal line, we'd probably fall down to this sort of channel down here, this blue trend line here. So again, similarly to Gala, you're looking at around that sort of 22% sort of correction to the downside. However, to the upside, you'll be looking at this sort of resistance up here, but ultimately we want to be getting up into this sort of green order block here. So for me, I'd probably, if we was to do it conservatively, we've got a risk to reward ratio of 5.5. And if we was to get up into this order block, we can go much higher. So we're looking at a risk to reward ratio of 11 in the short term. That would be my sort of target anyway before the end of the year, is this green order block. Now you can see how Gala actually outstrips Velo, which is why I posted this morning my top 3 coins for the Q4 season: Gala, Velo, and Dodge in that order. Now we can quickly have a look at Dodge before we get onto XDC, and then what we're looking to do, we'll probably look at wrapping up. So yeah, just cover Velo now. I'll quickly do Dodge. I will timestamp these as well, so if you want to skip ahead, you can do so. Now, Dodge is looking phenomenal because we've actually broken out of this sort of descending wedge here, this sort of peak here. Now, similarly to the other coins that I've actually shown you guys in the previous sort of charting, which I've just covered, we could do something similar where we're looking to sort of trickle down here, bounce, bounce, bounce. And ultimately, we'll go into the US elections in the first week of November. And then we get a sort of impulse to these sort of highs. And then we could probably stall out for a bit. And then if we get to, that's probably too far. But what we'll be looking to do, certainly from 24th, 25th of November, when altcoin season kicks in, we will be looking at taking out this order block here. So in that case, if I was to do the TA there, we'll just apply, let's delete this TA here. Again, we're looking at trading in. Let's just delete all that. What we'll be looking at doing is getting the current market price here. Take there. And then we'll drag that up to there. Again, let's scroll in to make it a little bit easy for you guys. Again, the apex is down here. And this is a sort of low down here. For like this, we've got lows down here in 24, but I don't feel like we'd actually be looking at taking these out. We'd be looking at taking this low out anyway. But if we bring it up to about here, the risk to reward element here, be looking at getting up to at least these highs here. So that is actually a 6.17. So that is pretty decent. You could say, we've got better returns in the interim. Well, Q4 certainly. Dodge could possibly have better returns than Velo in Q4, in my opinion. That's not to say Velo isn't going to outstrip some of these other altcoins, because Velo, long-term wise, is probably going to be the best return in investment. So if you're new to crypto, you're just getting in, or you've just discovered Velo, you're looking just to literally put your crypto on, say like cold storage, for example, just, probably just look at, not financial advice, but maybe look at putting Velo on there and just putting it away. However, if you're actively sort of swing trading like I am, which is like quarter to quarter, personally, I'm in Gala. I've got Velo. I haven't got any Dodge, but again, I just put Velo on cold storage, just set and forget and leave it. I'm not looking to trade Velo. But yeah, Dogecoin looking really good now anyway. So again, like I said, we could crumble down here, grind down this sort of wedge, and then we get that sort of blast off. Last but not least, saving the best to last, my biggest holding in my crypto portfolio, XDC. Where are you? I've been playing around with XDC quite a bit. Where are you? Here we go. Let's close that chart down here. Now let's go over to lines with markers. Again, very sort of, you can see here, that's this horizontal line here is actually the high of the daily. We're currently on the weekly time frame here, so yes, you can alter it here, but ultimately, again, I'm looking at this sort of green order block down here. This is the current price action. So at some point after the US elections, especially after this yellow vertical line that marks US elections, after the yellow line, anytime in this sort of green box, I'd be looking at exploring. So that would again take us sort of similar time frames to XRP, where we could take up until the sort of first week of January before we start, really rocketing. But I would expect XDC, if Gala, Velo, and Dodge are all going to make some strong moves, I'd at least expect XDC to start taking out these highs up here around 7.5 cent up to about that 9 cent where the daily sort of close was. And then into the new year, obviously, we'll just be obliterating previous all-time highs, and then we go into price discovery where it gets exciting. The fireworks are going off, and crypto markets in euphoria, and then we're just looking then to execute our plan. Again, XRP plan, and then we've got the XDC one down here as well. So you can just click on that sort of iPhone product, if you will. Add to cart, buy with shop, blah, blah, blah. We've got Apple Pay, GPay, you name it. So it's all there, and obviously all the different currencies. So yeah, that's today's video, guys. I wish you all the best in Q4, and keep in touch anyway. Make sure you comment, share, like, subscribe. Do what you got to do as always. I've been the Block Bull. Up until next time, I shall see you soon. Block Bull over and out.